Do you think men fall in love faster than women do?
Yeah, I've seen some guys fall.
Okay, we'll unpack that later. Have you ever said, I'm not ready, when the real reason was it's not her?
I think guys do feel like they've got to have it together to get into not only a serious relationship, but for sure to get married.
Growth within a relational dynamic is different than growth in singleness.
It's true. Fear should never be a factor to prevent you from stepping in. For sure. Like there's only one fear, it's the fear of the Lord. And if there is fear that's preventing you, then that's the issue. If you're still stuck in sin, you shouldn't be dating anybody. I'm so sorry. Dog, what? That is the biggest lie that you could tell yourself and anyone around you.
If he doesn't have brothers in his life that he can hold him accountable, you need to not date that guy.
100%.
Turn and run.
You say you want a godly marriage, but what have you changed in your life to prepare for it?
I got a lot of thoughts on this one.
Hello and welcome to the Dear Future Husband podcast. Recently, we had our first ever live taping, and we're doing another first today. We are having our first single guys Q&A. And look, there are going to be all types of questions, some that you sent in, some that I have for you, and then just a lot of fun. We'll see where it goes. But let me first introduce our panel today, starting with Tracy. He is 36. He is an actor, a film writer, and his first kiss was actually on the big screen. Thank you, Tracy. Next, we have Chase. He is 32. He is in philanthropy, and he has been between the U.S. and between Paris growing up with his family working both. So well-traveled, maybe even well-cultured. And next, we have Colt. He is 33. He is in coaching in the sports world. And fun fact about him, he has lived in 16 different places. So please say hello, ladies, to your panel. Guys, thank you so much.
What's up, ladies?
You have some big shoes to fill. You have the representation of Christian men's thoughts on singleness, dating, marriage. And while I don't expect to quote you on everything, to hold you down to your answers, I do think it's nice to have this space because I'm sure you could all agree dating's kind of hard right now, especially in the last 5 years. And sometimes we see that from just a female perspective, but I'm sure there's nuances and complexities that you guys are entering into. So I thought, why not just start with a speed round on what those look like?
Okay.
If we agree or disagree.
All right.
All right. This is also a shameless plug. This is when it's fun to be watching on YouTube because you can see these responses. So if you're on podcast, maybe pause and jump over to YouTube. If you're on YouTube, hey, thanks so much for being here. Let's start with question number 1. Dun, dun, dun. We need theme music right now. Okay, number 1. I have prayed for my future wife. Okay. Number 2. Have you ever met a woman you knew was wife material and still didn't pursue her? Yeah. Okay. I like the honesty. Do you believe in love at first sight?
You can find me once. You're good.
Have you ever said, I'm not ready, when the real reason was it's not her?
No.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Honesty. That's what we want to see.
Yeah. That's a green flag in and of itself.
Yeah.
If this was yesterday, I mean, maybe not, but have you ever been ghosted?
For sure.
No.
No.
No, must be nice.
I also like.
Have you ever ghosted?
No. That's real,
Even
dog.
with
Well,
how
there
bad I am at
I
text
mean,
messages,
it's because you
no.
ghosted is why you got ghosted. Yeah.
That's real.
Oh.
That is real.
Do you talk to your mom often? Okay, good.
She'd probably say I need to talk to her more, but I feel like
Yeah.
that
True.
slide is off.
First thing I was thinking.
Yeah.
Not enough. It's never enough. We always like to talk to our sons. Have you ever said, I love you, but you didn't mean it? Have you ever stalked a woman's social media before a date? No?
I'm grateful to say that.
Good for you.
Maybe not stalk, like
okay.
hardcore
This isn't a
research.
bad-
Define stock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Researched.
Yeah,
I haven't really
research.
dated much, but I think I feel like I've done my research thoroughly.
That's good, I think. Do you think men fall in love faster than women do?
Well,
I mean,
depends, but I think so sometimes.
yeah, I've seen some guys fall. Yeah.
Okay, we'll unpack that.
Like, man.
Sure.
Have you ever canceled a date last minute because you just weren't feeling it?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, we'll unpack that later
With
too.
healthy communication. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
With healthy communication's crazy.
Christian's like, okay.
Yeah,
Last
I wanna
minute
hear
and
what that
healthy
means.
communication.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I want to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay, we can unpack that.
Whatever you say, Chase, whatever you say.
Good.
Do you believe in soulmates?
Soulmates. The word soulmates.
Yeah, I just don't like the word.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Noted.
Believe
Don't
the
like
Lord.
the
But I
word.
have,
Somebody
I have
before
thoughts
me.
on that.
Would you marry a woman who makes more money than you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is physical attraction non-negotiable?
Non-negotiable.
I mean, I think so.
Yes.
I think for me, no.
I like that.
We've got some interesting
I
answers
like
so far.
that.
I'm
Yeah,
excited.
this
We're
is
starting off
diverse.
strong.
You need this.
Make sure you stick around to see the answers behind these questions. 2 more. Are you actually single? Yes. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Technically.
And if the right woman came along today, are you truly ready for marriage?
Truly ready for marriage.
Yes.
What does what?
I feel like I'm answering way too fast.
I've
No.
I-
I've been
Well,
bringing
jumping
mine
the
up
gun,
quick
I
too.
just
Nah.
feel-
It's a speed round.
I would
it's
say
true.
yeah.
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 Okay, a good segue to going into the
Healthy
deeper
self-awareness.
questions is Tracy is actually one of my husband's best friends. He'd probably say the best friend. I think I claim that role, but
Yep. Sure.
tomato. But it's something we've been working on with you a little bit.
That's true. It's good. It's good.
Exploring the route. But you know what's fun about this is I actually appreciate that you guys are in your 30s because I think that is the age range I found a lot of our listeners in. And there's a lot of dating advice that could go either way, but could be evergreen in your 20s or your 30s or 40s. And so it's nice to come into this with, a little bit of lived wisdom, spiritual wisdom, maybe dating wisdom, less or more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really curious. There's a lot that I've been learning about what people go through in singleness, and then even how to get to that point of ending on that last question, am I ready for marriage? What that means in preparation, what it means in mindset. And, I just want to start with the first question is when it comes to making that choice, what do men struggle to identify in either what they're looking for in a partner or if they're ready to take that step?
You want me to take the
I'm
lead?
gonna do
Third
it.
order. How are we
No,
doing?
it's just whoever's feeling it.
Yeah, I guess I can take the lead, and I could speak mainly for myself, but I think there would be some through lines for men in general. I've acknowledged for myself over the last year, 2 years, that I know more what I don't want in a relationship than what I do want.
Yeah.
I know that's not the healthiest place to be in, and I've been investing time to try to figure out what I truly do want. What are the character traits? What are the interests? What is the background that I would want in a wife, and what I think would make a good mother to my future kids. But in an attempt to be self-aware, because of past relationships, because of books that I've read, conversations with friends, variety of different life experiences, I've learned things that I don't want, which I'd be happy to share some of them. But
Yeah, if you want to elaborate, it doesn't have to be super specific.
yeah, I know one thing in general is being someone who, this is a very important value of mine, someone who doesn't have interest in not being friends with unbelievers is something that's really difficult for me.
I see.
Where I have a lot of friends who are non-believers that I've had throughout kind of my whole life. And I know this might be a unique thing for me, but though they're friends that I've had for 25 to 30 years already that I know are going to be with me for life, because loyalty is a really big thing for me. And my future wife getting along with them and becoming genuine friends with their wives is really important for me. Yet I've found in my past relationship experience that there's some women who rightfully want to have healthy community and Christian community, but oftentimes think that they can't be genuine friends with people who are non-believers or who don't have the same values, because bad company corrupts good morals, like a lot of things that we've been taught over our young adulthood. And for me, I've seen so much fruit from my relationships with these friends that are non-believers over the course of my life, them challenging me to pursue righteousness, sometimes more than my Christian friends, because they want to see consistency in the words that I say and the actions that I walk. And so there's been some times where girls that I've been in relationships with have been a little out of touch and been unable to just have normal, like, human conversations with these wives or girlfriends that are non-believers, because they're either so insulated within church culture, in a variety of other ways. And so that's something that I know that I would not want, is a girl who's not open to having genuine everyday friendships with non-believers, which can vary, as I said, from guy to guy. But that's just been an experience of mine.
I mean, I feel like there's a few different things. One, I think like there are a lot of options per se, which I think that becomes a whole like issue in and of itself. I think we're looking for, not we, maybe, okay, I don't want to like, I don't know if I'm going to
We're generalizing here.
Yeah, okay. I think unfortunately there is like this pinnacle of a woman that a guy wants that prevents him from stepping into relationships with women that are fantastic, that could complement him wonderfully. I also think like we bought into like a lot of the narratives and the lies that we see like in social media and television and in film. And so I think like some of that has marred like this perception of like what an incredible woman is. Like it's not just her looks, you know, like, right, you see the cover of the book before you read the content, but the content still matters, you know? And so I think like a lot of guys are reluctant because they want this type of girl that they're aiming for. But if they don't have that, like based off what they've seen, then they're like reluctant to step into anything, and they miss out on a lot of wonderful women that are in front of them. Yeah. So I think like this like misexpectation, you know, that's rooted in what like the world has said, you know. I've seen like guys whose eyes have been opened to wonderful women over the course of time because an incredible friendship was established. And then they slowly begin to see, whoa, you're like you're not only like beautiful outwardly, but you are incredible inwardly. Mm-hmm. You know, so I think, but I think that whole friendship piece as well is something that needs to be integrated into like our faith culture a bit more. It's like, hey, you can be friends with girls and like kind of get to know women in a really platonic way. And over the course of time, if your eyes are open, that's amazing. If like they're not, that's okay. There's still someone out there, but like the world should not be the standard for what you're pursuing as far as like a woman is concerned. And I think like that's crept in big time.
Yeah. That brings me back to one of the questions earlier of the physical attraction piece. And Colt, you actually said, I don't know if that's a non-negotiable for me. Like physical attraction isn't the pinnacle. So can you elaborate on that in the context of?
Sure. I mean, kind of what Tracy was saying there is true. I think we're exposed now in this time that we live to just so much data, so much information just on a day-to-day that it can become overwhelming. And I think the way everything is designed now, you know, Instagram, social media, there's dating apps, there's all of these things that create these algorithms geared towards you. And they know how to draw you in to X, Y, Z. And I think when, like, I know a lot of good men that are strong men of faith, but struggle with dating. And I've been that guy. And what I can speak from, even with experience and just being vulnerable, which I told Tracy I would be.
Yeah.
It's not always easy to be.
Thank you on behalf of everyone watching.
We love that.
Just through failures. And I know like social media presents so many options. And when you kind of let that have a stronghold in your life, it really becomes like a spiral. And it's hard to be present and intentional with somebody if I'm keeping options open. And as a coach, I can put it like this. If I'm the head coach of a program and I'm talking about culture, because that's like the buzzword nowadays, like culture, we build family and culture. And I think actions speak way louder than words. But if a coach is talking about those things, but secretly when he's, in his office or behind closed doors at home, he's thinking about the next job opportunity that this job's going to lead to if he has success, then he's not really building that culture. Like it's the foundation for why he's there is fractured to begin with. And so for me, it can really directly translate. And I'm sorry, I don't know if the listeners will really relate to coaching, but for me, it's a way I can verbalize it. And I think if you're not being present with the team you're coaching or like the person you're trying to date, and you're leaving thoughts and room for distractions to maybe some other option, then you're not going to be successful where you're at with what you're trying to do. And really that might be your dream job and you just don't even know it. So I think I can draw just maybe a comparison between, coaching and dating in that sense. But ultimately I think it comes back to just the amount of options that seem to be available, and everything's vanity. Like the saying goes, if you want to make money, sell vanity to women. And if you want to make money, sell lust to men. And I think that that's something that men need to be aware of, but that also maybe women should be aware of too.
Yeah. I'm really glad you highlight that, because I think one of the biggest pain points for especially single women or Christian single women is that when men don't lead with clarity and intentionality.
For sure.
And, it's like you're saying, if your vision is over here, then of course you're not going to have a vision for where you're planted. And it's just, it's that pendulum between we can be friends for a little bit and see where it goes to I am actually mismanaging someone's heart because I'm not clear where mine is.
Totally.
To play on the sports metaphor a little bit more, I saw a video earlier, which my dad was a football coach, so I'm tracking with you. I got what you're saying. But I saw a video, I think it was just yesterday, and it was this early 30-year-old man who had never played soccer before. And he posted videos like, never played soccer, trying it out. And then a few years later, he's in the World Cup series right now. So he made a team, and just like this drastic learning skill, which seemed like, I don't have this capability. But when he started applying it, like drastic results. And I'm thinking in the context of a guy saying, well, I've had dating failure in the past, or I'm just not ready. I don't know what ready looks like. I think there's something that is really so powerful, especially when a man says, this is the vision that I want to work hard for. I'm never going to be ready, but I'm also going to miss my window if I don't apply myself for this particular area and arena and skill set. So when it comes to you guys, early 30s, kind of Tracy.
I'm mid-30s, but hey, who's asking?
You look younger than 30.
Here we go.
When it comes to that idea, okay, we're sorting through the taboos, the lies, maybe the pressure it sounds like there might be in dating. How do you get to that point of knowing, okay, this is someone that does have potential. This is something that I have to make the choice in, because there's blessing in the choice. It's not always, the heavens open and a dove ascends on her. Like
Totally.
How do you make that choice with confidence?
I mean, I have a few different thoughts with this one. I think having great spiritual leaders in your life is so key and significant to making big decisions like this. Like, you make the two most important decisions in your life. It's the day you say yes to Jesus and the day you say yes to the woman that you want to join yourself with for the rest of your time on the earth. So you need good leadership in your life that's going to help you kind of navigate that process. So I think for me, having good leaders in my life to help me navigate something like that is key to making that decision. I think also having really wise friends and people in my life that I trust that are seeing things within me and even within her that we need to be aware of. And I also think having the right friends to kind of speak into things and walk alongside you with that is key. To pursue a woman solo is, I think, to set yourself up for a lot of failure, 100%. Especially if you don't have leaders and you don't have wise friends and people that can really guard your blind spots. If she doesn't have that in her life as well, then it's a recipe for disaster. And so I think leadership helps you make these wise decisions. I think really great friends helps you to kind of sift through some of the stuff that you are thinking too much about and are really preventing yourself from stepping into. I think most importantly, your relationship with the Lord. I think the Lord has so much wisdom on dating and a perspective on how to navigate this, that he should be the first person we're seeking. And then from that place, you bring your leaders in. And then from that place, you bring some of your friends in to help you sort of like navigate this massive decision. Also, like, you don't need to have putting so much pressure on yourself is so like unnecessary. But that's just like my angle. I think like the Lord, I think leadership, I think quality friends, that's what helps you to like make a really sound decision on this person. And then just like whatever decision you make, like trust the Lord in the process.
Yeah.
Like I can trust that he's faithful enough with this decision that he's going to be with me in the midst of it, that he's going to continue to form me. So yeah, like I think just a lot of guys, it's fear that prevents them. It's a lack of leadership. Their like inability to be led by the Lord in that. Like dating's subjective. There's no like real biblical grid for dating. But the Spirit gives life. And I think he has a lot more wisdom on how we can navigate this if we just kind of like surrender and yield and let him lead.
Yeah. I want to hear both of y'all's answers on that, but I want to say that you're touching on something that I've heard in the last month. 4 incredible women that were entering a serious relationship with someone, a godly man. And then he started with, you're the one, all this stuff. And then a few months in was like, actually, the Lord's telling me I need to break it off.
Oh, no, not that guy.
And all of those men, from what I can gather, didn't have mentors and accountability. And so you can love the Lord, you can want to pursue good marriage and dating, but I'm seeing that men that aren't aware of how to be vulnerable with friends, with peers, with mentorship, they are doing it alone and they're mismanaging it, even with good intentions. So I just want to say, if you've been in that arena or you are a guy thinking, why is this so hard? Maybe learn from this. Of like, you need your guys around you. You need people that have done marriage well.
Yeah.
Or it is confusing.
And just even like piggyback before, like the Bible says a man that ventures off into isolation comes to ruin. So it's like, okay, there's a lot to that. Like the moment you decide to take yourself out of what's actually the most beneficial for you, you have set yourself up for failure, Anyways,
Yeah. It's really good. Something I wanted to follow up on, because you talked about placing pressure in relationships. Something that I think is really important at the start of a new relationship, but also anything new, is not placing so much pressure to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I'll add the caveat. I know for women, say because of biological clock, it is something that y'all have to figure it out sooner than men do. It's unavoidable. But it's also our responsibility to steward any woman that we're in relationship with
1,000%.
or potential relationship with, to not drag our feet.
Yeah.
But with those caveats, at the start of a relationship, at the start of anything new, things are fragile. And if you place too much pressure on that new thing, it's going to break. Whether it's a relationship, whether it's pottery, whether it's a baby, like anything that's new, it's fragile. And so it's very important at the start of a relationship to have fun, make memories while getting to know each other. And I think both men and women are prone, depending on personality, temperament, to want to place a lot of pressure to figure it out super quick. Because it's like,
it's true.
I have a fear of wasting time. I have a fear of, maybe my reputation will be bad if this continues on for 6 months and then doesn't end up in that place. There's so many thoughts that can come in.
For sure.
And so don't let the joy of something new get killed by needing to figure it out.
Yeah.
And honestly, I was talking with one of our friends, Chaz, about this over the last couple of years. I think regret isn't always a healthy framework to look at life through, but this was, I think, a resonant thing for both of us. You will regret more if this person ends up being the one and you don't make memories the first 6 months of your relationship, then the amount that you will regret if this person doesn't end up being the one and you waste 6 months. The memories are worth so much more than a few months of figuring this out, and when it could maybe be quicker, when in reality it's just going to break the relationship.
It's brought up another question in my mind is, so I think at this stage in life, it is this interesting area where maybe you have been making great memories in friendship in your career. How do you almost know it's time to come up for air, if you will, of like, how do you balance the, because you just wrote a book, you're writing a show, you're coaching. I don't know you as well yet, but so how do you know because there's such a balance to everything in life. I think we'd all agree. And so it is one of those things where I don't want to depart from some of the good things I'm called to because I feel this pressure to search, but I also don't want to be so lasered into what I'm doing that I could miss a great potential. So how do you guys, especially on talking to other single men, like how do you navigate the things you're called to, stewarding those well, but also being intentional for, there's other dreams that I have and I want to make sure I'm investing in that search?
That's good.
Probably not by just like scrolling and doing dating apps, but like what's a good intentional practice in that? I guess we can start here if you.
I mean, one thing that comes to mind for me is I think a lot of men lack purpose in knowing like what the Lord's calling them to do. And I think there's a season where that's okay. And I mean, I've been in that season. I don't know if you guys can relate to it, but
can relate.
Just a season where you're a little unsure of like what you want to do for a career, where you want to live, the man you're trying to become. And I think guys can kind of just be cruising through life real comfortable. And I think until they get to a place where A, their identity is in Christ, but B, do they feel like their life is in alignment with like what God's will is for them? And I think that's not, it can be something that can just happen, but I think sometimes it takes like going about your due diligence to figure out different career paths and being willing to step out and try something that you're passionate about doing. And if a guy's walking in that and he's aligned in that, then I feel like that guy is going to be more prepared for not just marriage, but even just getting into a serious relationship and dating with intent.
Yeah.
And I've been that guy that wasn't. And because of the Lord, I'm a guy that is now as I sit here, and that's with a lot of failure and learning from experience. And, that's part of being 33. Like I've got more life experience than I did when I was 25 and just literally figuring it out at that time. Some people figure it out sooner and that's amazing. It took me longer, but I feel like if a guy's not, if he's lacking purpose, it's going to be really hard. I don't want to say impossible. It's going to be really hard to show up and date with intent and lead a woman the right way and then lead a family the right way. And if you just jump into that, then I feel like you're setting it up for failure. And the Lord's sovereign. He's going to show grace and he's faithful and he will make the most of that. But I just feel like it's a lot more difficult if you just jump headfirst in without getting things in your life in order to be prepared for that.
Do men feel like they have to almost be the package complete before they can pursue a woman?
Yeah, I think I'd be remiss if I said no. I mean, I think guys do feel like that.
they
like
for sure.
Guys, I
feel that way.
mean, I think most women I've talked to, and I've got a sister who I bounce ideas off of all the time. She's so wise and such a godly woman to ask for advice, but she's able to sometimes steer me back. Like, I think guys do feel like they've got to have it together to get into not only a serious relationship, but for sure to get married. And that can be, are my finances right? Do I feel like where I'm going to be living for the rest of my life? Am I happy at work? Whatever that is, like, does he have a church home? That's one thing I want to know too if I was a girl, but if he doesn't, you should probably figure that out. I would not proceed, but I think I think guys definitely do feel that way, where it's like, I don't have it together, I'm not ready, and it makes them hesitate.
For sure. And there's like two sides to that coin, because it's such a valid point and it's a real point, and I agree with that. I think guys do feel that pressure. Then you have some guys that are okay, and some girls that are okay with going on that journey with that guy. Yeah. Which is like, okay, cool. Like you absolutely can do that as well. I think like the biggest thing is, because you look at Adam was in purpose before Eve was given. So like that's something to take into consideration. Like he was functioning in the purpose and design of stewarding the earth before Eve was given to him, which is beautiful. But like recognizing that the first purpose is to be with the Lord. Like, man, if a guy has a deep relationship with Jesus and he is going in the direction that he knows God is calling him, and the Lord brings a wonderful woman to complement that, that's amazing. Even if you don't have all of your ducks in a row and all of your finances in order, that's fantastic. Because I think I think a lot of it's preferential. Some men want to be in a financial place where they can support a family, which I think there's nothing wrong with that, But fear should never be a factor to prevent you from stepping in. Like there's only one fear, it's the fear of the Lord. And if there is fear that's preventing you, then that's the issue. Like if you're afraid of not having enough, and that's why you don't want to like step further in with her, then that's something we need to go after.
Yeah.
Because if she's willing to go in with you and walk with you through that, that should be that should be, you should be okay with that. Like there should be like confidence in knowing, hey, she's not going anywhere because she loves you. You know, so I think there's nuances to it, and it's not like a one-stop shop, but I do think like most guys, it's like the fear thing. Like I don't have it together. I need X, Y, and Z. I think the purpose thing is spot on though. Like your purpose is him first. So like if that's not in order, if you only can lead her to the degree that you're led by him. So if you're not led by him in purpose, as in he's your purpose, then you're not going to lead that relationship effectively whatsoever. And then apart from that, what he's called you into, I mean, that's another significant thing. Does she complement that? Because then it gets into like, hey, the God for you thing or the God thing. Like a woman that loves the Lord, that's amazing. A woman that loves the Lord and is called to the same thing, that's also, I mean, that to me like would be the more preferred route. Because if she's called to Uganda and you're called to be in sports, you're going to have a huge problem. You know, like that ain't going to work. So I think there's more to it as well. It's kind of a nuanced sort of situation. I digress.
As we talked about.
That's well said. That's really well said.
Yeah, I think to wrap it up, two more narrow things that I think girls can look for and try to identify in men at like the start of a relationship to see if they're ready is one, are they willing to communicate with you in a way that makes you feel loved and fulfilled and in the way that you need to be? Whatever that looks like, whatever rhythm of communication that looks like, and y'all need to decide, like you and the guy need to decide that because it's unique in each relationship. And then something to look for as well that honestly I try to be self-aware in is like, is the guy growing?
Yeah.
Even after we enter a relationship.
Yep.
Growth within a relational dynamic is different than growth in singleness.
It's true.
It is so, at least in my experience, it's been a lot easier to grow within singleness than to grow while in a relationship. One, because just my pride steps in different ways and makes me feel like I have to fight for a variety of things that I need to continue to address. But you're just dealing with a number of more variables where you're trying to care for the girl. You're trying to make sure life continues to go on as is. You're meeting a lot of new people at that time. So you don't have quantitatively as much time to self-reflect and to see, hey, like, where can I grow? But if he's continuing to steward his spiritual growth, variety of other metrics of growth well, and you as a girl can see that within the context of a relationship, then you know that he's likely going to continue to grow within marriage.
Yeah.
Rather than stay stagnant. So
For sure.
Way
I
better.
say like people are usually the person they're going to be entering marriage, like versus things like changing, right? Like after you get married, I don't think a lot of things some things can change, but the core of who that person is unlikely to change more.
Yeah, you're
once
gonna
you step into that.
pull on things, but it's gonna be the same kind of string. It's not just gonna be a
Yeah.
surprise.
Like
when you start
exposing,
tugging.
actually. Yeah, everything's exposed.
It's like it's calibrative, but it's definitely what you invest. It's the same identity, I guess. Like what you invest in is what you reap type of idea. This goes in well with our next question. This one, it can feel spicy in delivery. I'm not saying it pointed,
We love it.
but here it is.
Give us the spice.
Okay, so you say you want a godly marriage, but what have you changed in your life to prepare for it?
I got a lot of thoughts on this one, but I might have to hold off for a bit because I might go in on some dudes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like you started.
So yeah, like who you're becoming, you know, like as a son. I think one, I would hope that a man going into like this dynamic, like one knows who he is as a son. Like that's a big thing. Identity in Christ is huge. If you lack that and you're looking to find that in a relationship, then you'll never find anything but you.
Which, can you expand on that to the person that knows that in theory but hasn't had the full revelation? Because you went through a big revelation of what this looks like, and what you said it last night with Arden, like seminary and church and everything.
Yeah,
got you
like it's
information,
formation,
but not transformation.
Yeah, like so for me, like I went to Bible school that informed me, but it didn't form me. Formation happens in the secret place where God begins to form and prune and refine and renew you because you're seeking him. It's like when you begin to behold Jesus, you become the very person you behold. So I'm being formed into the very person God sees me to be as his son as I spend time with him. But if I'm learning informational, scholastic, academic insight, that's not going to form it'll inform me about who God is to defend my faith. But when it comes to actually becoming the son he's created me to be, that he sees me as, that happens in the secret place. I think if you lack that, you shouldn't even be pursuing like a woman, because you're going to lead her in the wrong direction because you're not being led in the right one. And so I think for us as men, like I think having a secret place is pivotal. I think like that's the through line. Like if you're with the Lord, like Matthew 6:6 and 6:33, seek him, everything else falls into place. So if I'm seeking him, which is amazing, he's leading my life, and I see someone that is phenomenal, that complements where God is leading me, I'm able to lead her because I'm led by him. Like, I think it becomes that simple and practical. But like, unfortunately, we've created all these like complicated systems to these dynamics where it becomes way unnecessary. Like if you're still stuck in sin, you shouldn't be dating anybody. I'm so sorry, because you're going to lead her right into sin. Like if that's a big thing for you, then let's get free. And then let's begin to understand identity in him. And then at just the right time, the Lord will bring the right one in the right season when you're ready to receive that. And then you can move forward in that. But if you're still stuck in sin, you shouldn't be dating, dog. You shouldn't even be you should be looking at Jesus, like not even around what he's given and what he's created. I think like a lot of guys who are still dealing with sin think that like, oh, well, this girl is free from it, so then she can actually like be my accountability and help me. It's like,
Be better in marriage.
dog,
Yeah.
what?
Right, exactly.
Like that is the biggest lie that you could tell yourself and anyone around you. What actually happens is all of that's exposed in an even greater way, and it actually ends up hurting her and also you. And I've just seen that happen. So I think like that's the biggest thing. And then it gets into like friendship and other aspects that I've kind of hit on earlier, but yeah, I'll let these other guys share.
Keep going. Like, yeah, that's
You guys got this.
truth right there.
I think a couple things for me is similar to what Tracy just said in different terms, growing in self-control. Am I a man of my word? Am I doing some of the simple things like working out, eating healthy, all that kind of stuff to steward my body?
You know, speaking of working out and eating right, I know that just like dating can be confusing, figuring out what to eat can be confusing. Where should I buy from? What should I be prioritizing? Look, what I do know is that if you want to find a good place to source your meat, you should go to goodranchers.com. Good Ranchers only sources their cuts from local American farm and ranches. And if you've heard our other ads with Good Ranchers and you've just been a little curious about when to start, I want to help make this decision easier for you. You can use my exclusive code DFH to get $25 off your first order. So all you have to do is go to goodranchers.com, enter DFH for Dear Future Husband, and you can get good American quality meat delivered right to your door. Good Ranchers, American meat delivered.
And that are representative of a larger degree of self-control, sexual purity,
Yeah.
being there for friends whenever it could be more convenient for myself to not be there. And then the second thing, which kind of rolls into that, is am I leaning into conflict or am I leaning away from it? It may be a common thing said within our culture nowadays, but like what makes a marriage is doing conflict well and being able to have conflict resolution. And good times are a poor predictor of how you'll manage bad times. That doesn't mean intentionally lean into bad times during a relationship, because that kills the joy, and joy is very important in life. But whenever the opportunity in my life for giving feedback to a friend, receiving feedback, am I leaning into that or am I withdrawing from that? Because I will say my natural tendency is to be conflict averse. And I need to be aware that that is something that is a proclivity of mine that's not healthy. And so what am I doing to actively address that? And if I'm actively growing in that area, that lets me know that, okay, I'm walking towards what would be a mature place to be for marriage. And to somewhat pair with what you're saying, I don't think that you need to be a finished product we talked about it earlier, finished
No.
product to be ready for marriage.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
Because you're not even a finished product in marriage.
Yeah.
You're not. And especially if marriage is meant to resemble the relationship between the bride and Jesus, we don't need to be clean before coming to Jesus. And so
Well, you don't want to be dirty. I'm just going to pause that.
100%. Necessary context here that I think we have. Thank you for that.
Yes, absolutely.
But
I didn't want you to be one of those reels replay where someone's like, Chase said I can. But please continue. It was a beautiful.
You're media trained. I'm not. Only slightly. But yeah, I think that if you're walking a life of active repentance in close community with people who know it, and you're confessing current sins, not just past sins, you're walking towards that way of knowing that you're ready for relationship and marriage.
I'm so glad you said that, and like the admittance of it, because there's even what you're saying about formation, there's the acknowledgement of like, oh, I could grow in this. But I think anyone can say that, especially in this like vulnerability, heightened stage we're in. Is like, it's one thing to be aware, it's another to be active
Totally.
in it. And I think the gift of accountability
Huge.
is so transformative, because the last relationship I had before Arden, I was aware of some things, but I was like, okay, Jesus, like, let's work them out.
Yeah,
And it wasn't until I started praying with someone and saying, I hate that this is happening. I hate that this is a part of myself and I want to separate it. And so I think, as men, I'm just assuming it might be harder to get to that point of finding another guy you could trust to confide in. But I also would imagine what I've seen modeled from, some of you that I know is like, once you do that, it becomes even more of a strength within you.
It sharpens you.
Sure.
Like, absolutely. And I think even to add on to Chase's point, it's like, am I becoming more like Jesus? Like, that's the goal for me, like as a son, and even for her as a daughter. Are we becoming more like Christ? Like that it's either I'm becoming more like him or more like the world. And I think the metric for that is Galatians 5:22-23. It's like, man, am I becoming more loving, more joyous, more peaceable, more self-controlled, faith? Like, there's so many aspects to like the nature of God that we're growing and maturing in. I think like as you notice those metrics in your life and people are coming alongside to say, hey, like I feel like, man, you're really growing like in these areas, because we equate success to a lot of things that the scriptures never do. And like becoming like him, looking to him and becoming like him, that's success.
Yeah.
That is the metric for it. And so I think like as you're maturing in your relationship with the Lord, becoming more like him, like, man, I think like that's a through line to know I want to like partner with someone as a gift to me to see this in an even greater way romantically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, Luke 2:52. Jesus grew in stature, strength, and favor with man. What do you think, like a godly single man that's just like, man, I have a sister that I would recommend this guy for? Like, if you're painting the pinnacle of like, there's a godly man doing singleness right, that he is walking in Jesus' favor, but it is attractive.
Yeah.
What does that look like if you were to model him?
And I think kind of what we were just hitting on, like, ask hard questions up front. Who are your accountability partners?
Yeah.
Cody Hollis or Nathan Burnett. I'll tell you mine right now. Like, two of my best friends, but there's been times where as brothers, we have to call each other out. Yeah. And the verse iron sharpens iron comes to mind, or especially like just in an athletics realm. That's taken out of context sometimes. I think if someone's a believer and a brother in Christ, the way you sharpen them can be more of like a mallet coming down like with force, because it's
love.
coming from a place of love. But if it's someone who's not a believer, they're not going to receive that the same way. And that's more of just like a, hey, have you thought about this? Hey, should you be considering this? Hey, have you done this? And it's different. It's going to be received differently. And so I think if a man doesn't have accountability, we're prone to wander. We're prone to sin. And that's what's going to happen. And like my pastor at my church, Stonebridge Bible Church, Johnny Artavanus, hits on it all the time. We don't fight sin, we flee from sin.
Yep.
And so
1000%.
When you're presented with those things that you struggle with, first of all, flee from it. Don't try to fight it, because it's a losing fight. And have accountability. Brothers that, like, if he doesn't have brothers in his life that he can hold him accountable, you need to not date that guy.
Run from him. 100%.
Turn and run, flee from it. And so, and again, like, having that is huge. Like, if a man has, like Romans 12:2, like, be reformed by the renewing of your mind.
Yep.
Like Romans 7 and 8, you're either a slave to sin you're a slave to Christ.
Mm-hmm.
If a man is still a slave to his sin, there's going to be evidence of that in his life.
Yep.
Lack of accountability. Is he involved in a church? Is he a member of his church? If not, question and find out why.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is he in a small group? Like, hopefully so. You know, like hopefully he's doing things in his life that require sacrifice.
Totally.
To replace that with growing closer to the Lord. And if a guy is simply just not doing any of that, then
He ain't ready.
he's struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not ready for sure for like a serious relationship and to lead well. But if he's not doing that, then you know you don't need to pursue him as a woman.
Mm-mm.
Not as a godly woman.
Mm-mm.
You know, if you do that, it's going to result in pain and death and hurt, and that's just what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's the same for my brothers in Christ, because I've done it. I've been the guy that's like compromising what I know to be true because of potential, or because, well, what if I can do this and her? That's not our job.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Lord's job,
Mm-hmm.
and it happens in His timing. And everybody's at different walks with their faith, but that's what I think it boils back down to. I would encourage someone to read Romans 7 and 8 and take something away from that. But I think that's where I'm at.
Yeah,
with it, you know.
So that's it. Like a guy that's like in love with the Lord has got leaders and has got quality friends. It's like he ain't got to have a lot of money. But listen, as long as you're walking with the Lord and His people and you're heading in the direction He's leading you in, like that to me is like the kind of guy I'm like, man, he's a really great example. I might see if there's someone that like fits like the bill to like come alongside this dude. You know, I think like those are pretty practical, like obvious metrics to see. What were you gonna say?
Yeah. I don't want to be the guy to pull out my phone, but
He's the guy that's pulling out the phone.
there is, because I honestly, I hate this device.
I don't know you well enough to roast you, but
No, please roast me. But no, there's this post that I shared a couple years back that Holy Spirit was bringing them up, that was really resonant with some friends at the time. That it's basically, what are the standards that I hold myself to as a man? So I'll read through them quickly because I think it goes a bit to your point. And if y'all disagree with any of it, please voice
Where's
it.
the,
I'll
where's
say,
the green flag, red flag? We'll just
Basically. Biggest one for me, which I've already mentioned, is growth. Can you see growth in him? This is more important than where he's at now, or the potential that you see in him. Honor. Does he honor his friends, his parents, and the Lord? Loyalty. Is he loyal to his friends and his promises? People won't keep all their words or desires, but does he generally keep his commitments? Serving. Does he serve? He probably won't serve when he has more responsibility on his plate if he doesn't serve now.
yeah.
That is
Care. Does he ask how you are, and do you answer or do you deflect? Stewardship. Don't focus on what he has, but what he does with what he has.
That's good.
That's a good one.
That's really good.
Clarity.
You're gonna have to drop the link at the end. This is good stuff.
So good.
Does he seek clarity? Is he so focused on it that he can't go with the flow? Find someone who's balanced and stable. Humility. Does he admit when he's wrong? Does he not? Does he ask for forgiveness? Does he ask questions? Does he make demands rather than suggestions? Does he not listen? If he can't stop relaxing or stop work, either are concerning. If he has no wise counsel or brothers, if he's not leading in some or most of these areas. And last one, do their friends care for them deeply? That's a sign that there's something to be honored in that man.
That's good.
And I think that last one is super important for me. I'm very grateful. Like, Tracy's been a good friend for a couple years. Colt, you're going to be a friend. A good one over the next couple years.
Friendship.
Just your husband, Arden, being able to meet him over the last couple days. Friends are very pivotal to go through life with. And especially if the man is genuine with the friends around him, they see him in his best and his worst. And if they still care for him despite that, then you know there's something there.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
So good. I think the way that people respond to the person you're dating is a really good indicator of how you should respond.
Facts.
So the women that, And I hate to just play the devil's advocate here, but out of protection for women, I've seen women say, but he's misunderstood, or these people hurt him.
That's like an immediate red flag.
Those can be true. Like, he could come from a home that's not a believer's. He could not have met all the friends yet. He could be like in that season of grinding, trying to figure it out. Yeah. But I don't think you as a woman are the magic equation to him figuring that out. You can compliment him. Like Tracy said, you can believe in him if he's like in a low financial or whatever season, but it's like he needs to know that he can depend on the Lord himself and the people around him. So you can compliment that rather than confirm every missing piece in his life.
For sure.
So I love the way that you shared that. We do have the questions that you guys sent in, so thank you so much for doing those. We'll get to them, but I want to ask one more thing that I think is neat, because you guys have so beautifully put a in-depth spiritual highlight over all these questions. I want to get into a little bit of the practical as well, not to be
it's good,
like airy or superficial, but just to give some practicalities to it. Is when you think of your future wife, what are some of the attributes she'd carry? Those can be adjectives, that could be calling, it could be hopes and dreams, passions of yours. How would you describe her, or the relationship that you want to have with her?
Gentle and lowly.
It's good.
I mean, just like servant-hearted, just someone with motherly traits, someone that's a clear thinker, someone that can take you for who you are and not judge you, which allows you to be more vulnerable. Those would just be a couple off the top. But.
That's good.
Yeah, couple for me. The word I've been using recently is dynamic. Someone who can walk into any room and be considered a friend to anyone in there. It was peculiar to me when I saw this that Jesus's definition for who he considers friends are those who obey his Father. Mm-hmm. But there are so many people who considered him a friend that he didn't consider a friend. Mm-hmm. And it's because of how well that he treated them and how he was able to.
That's good.
Like in Hebrews, he's the high priest who can relate and sympathize with all of us. He was likely doing that in his life. Mm-hmm. He was able to relate to people and meet them where they were at. And so is this woman able to walk into a room and relate to people, talk with people, whatever else? And then me and Tracy were actually talking about this yesterday, because it's a bit of semantics on like kind of what we were talking about earlier with calling, vision, things like that. But I believe that it's very in line with what Tracy was saying, just with different words, that vision has to be the same. Mm-hmm. If the guy's called to Azerbaijan and the woman's like, I kind of want to have like a farm in the middle of Montana, like it's probably not going to work. But
everybody in Tennessee.
But
okay, I do have a question on that.
Go ahead.
Because we know in part, we prophesy in part. Of course, you won't know exactly what your marriage will unfold. I've seen a lot of people, because of how dating looks nowadays, if the average couple dates for 2.5 years, like there's all of this, I have to know everything before I give this person my yes, when there is some things, even in your calling, that, the Lord's put a heart in me for students. Maybe that looks like coaching right now. Maybe it would turn into professor. Who knows? And so I think sometimes we pigeonhole ourselves to, if we aren't 100% aligned and like we're going to spend our holidays here and that, all of those I think are so good to talk about. So no one's blindsided when you enter into marriage. But what if you have two hearts that could be, okay, I have this heart for community and putting healthy food on the table. That's why I love to farm. Okay, well, I love this, I love New York City, but maybe there's this little culture, What if some of that is an invitation to explore more rather than just
I agree.
Such a good question.
Hard line.
It's in the line of actually what I was going to share, that I think, and there's a bit of nuance and things to still be discovered in this, but for me, I don't think your vision needs to be aligned with your future spouse. I don't think your calling has to. For example, I think there's a lot of young people now that idolize ministry couples. Because of either parents that they don't have good relationships with, local accountability, a whole bunch of reasons that we could get into at another time. But a lot of young people think that, my future spouse has to be in basically the same line of work as I have to. Whereas I would challenge that and say, I think for every one healthy couple that you could point to that are both in ministry, I could point to 10 where like the woman is a pastor and the guy is a lawyer or whatever other job that you choose. And they're just as healthy and they're fulfilling their kingdom purposes just as much. With that, I think to your point of what you're talking about, there's a lot that we hear about like God first and then marriage and then ministry after that. And so what does it look like? And I don't have the answer, but what does it look like to, as you're in a relationship, not compromise what the Lord is genuinely calling you to?
Yeah.
While also understanding, okay, well, marriage is going to be my first ministry once I get married. So what is that implication with like the practical thing that I'm doing outside of the house? And like, how does all of it go? I don't know. I just know for me, the one standard that I'm going to have for my future marriage is that I have to honor the purpose and the calling that my wife has on her life.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be the one thing that's going to consistently pull her away from the house. And I have to see that as valuable and worthy of her being pulled away from the kids and me taking up the responsibility during that time. Same with her. She's going to need to see the value in what I'm doing so that whenever I have to travel or be pulled away from the house, she doesn't become quietly resentful of like, why is he always leaving to do this? Like, if you don't see the value in it, it's very easy to become resentful. So a couple of those things, I don't know if y'all have anything.
No, that's a great way to undergird that with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be like a touchy.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's like, I feel like it can be a touchy subject too, because everybody's gonna have like a different desire as like a husband, what you want in your wife, right? Like some guys are gonna want their wife to be at home, homeschooling the kids and doing that full time. Like some guys desire that. I know a lot of guys that want that. There's some guys that I'm like, go pursue a career if you feel called to that, and like I'll fan that flame and help you, do that as well. And I think it just comes back to being, on the same page for how you view the family dynamic. I can speak for myself. Like, I think if I get married, I like the thought of my wife being at home with kids, and whether that's homeschooling them or just being present until they go to a school. And where do you want me to go to school? Do you want me to go to public school, private school? Like for me, there's no way I think I'd want my kid to be in public school after being in both settings nowadays. And that's probably a strong stance, and I understand that, but I'm willing to take that stance and probably receive, criticism for it. But I think it's amazing if a woman feels like she wants to stay at home and raise kids. I think that's really cool. And I think like this area of the country, like you're going to get more of that, right? There's more of like the homestead, like you said, like a lot of women, a lot of guys talk about that dynamic. And I think it's really an interesting thing. The more I've been here, the more thought I've given to it. But I think it being on the same page, like you guys were just saying, like being on the same page about what your goals and vision for having a family looks like is really key.
I love that y'all are pointing that out, because I'm hearing know what your vision is and the whys behind it, but be open to conversation, because it's not that this is my way, this is right, I'm not able to bend. It's I want to make sure we're going on a place that we can be partners together. My why behind this is because I've seen some things. I want to be protective, whereas before maybe the other party has just thought, oh, well, I just thought this would be a good idea. So maybe the answers are different, but I think it's worth what I guess I'm saying is it's worth having a conversation around, rather than just saying that person's not my person because they don't love sports or they didn't go to seminary. Like, I just think there's can be some legalism where, as you're saying, there's so many options. We think, oh, it didn't 100% line up. So next, like, what's the next option? So know your why, share the vision, and have strong convictions. That's what I'm hearing from all of you and
have fun.
Yeah.
Like,
Thank you.
It should be the whole like dynamic. It should be like a fun journey. Like that should be something that's enjoyable and not so pressury. Like, we live in a culture where, there's like, people are like in a hurry to get into something. It's like, listen, whatever you rush, you ruin. But also whatever you move too slow with, you can miss out on. So you need to have discernment. And I think like that's a whole bigger conversation about this whole dynamic is like, just discern like what God's doing in you, what he's leading you into, and enjoy the journey with this person that you want to pursue and bring into that. Right. And if it doesn't work out, hey, that's okay. Like, I think we have to be okay with the fact that sometimes relationships don't work out. Like, sometimes we thought we were going to end up together and we didn't. And that is perfectly fine too. Just because you date her does not mean you are automatically going to marry her, and vice versa. Like the desire is to one day get to that point in place where that's the outcome. That doesn't mean you know it. Sometimes people do. I'm not going to like speak blanketedly. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, but that's the journey of it. You know, like you're putting yourself at risk regardless. You know, like you are signing up for your heart to be broken when you step into like any sort of relationship, whether it's friendship, whether it's romance. Like my favorite quote by C.S. Lewis is, with the love comes the pain. That's the deal. So you're signing up. It's risky regardless, but it would cost you more not to risk.
Yeah.
You know, to see if this person could be, or, you know, to whatever it might be.
And I love his testimony of he spent so many years in purposeful singleness. And then he spent a short amount of time in love that he still said this, paraphrasing here, like this sucked, but it was worthwhile because, you know, to know love, to risk, to be vulnerable, it's all worth it. So, you know, that just goes to show rushing looks different for everyone. Waiting looks different for everyone. If there was a formula for dating, we would not have this show because it'd be so much
honestly, give it to
easier.
me. Your boy,
the Tracy formula.
I need some help. No, give me the formula. I need help.
I really love the answers that Tracy, Chase, and Colt have brought to my questions, but here's the thing. I ask questions all the time. I thought what would be special would be if you asked the questions. So we have some of your questions in voice memo form that you have sent in that we are going to ask these guys. But it's going to be on part 2 because there was so much we didn't want to cut it short for you. So make sure you are subscribed so you will catch this episode when it releases next Thursday. And hey, if you've already liked this one, why not give a little like, you know? Go ahead and show a little interest there. Drop a like, drop a rating and review, and I will see you next week on the Dear Future Husband podcast.